Hey, I've had a lot, over 10 of these bed slingers in here that are the old style or, slow 3D printing. I've got some new high-speed printers in. But what I want to look at today was some of the differences and what am I seeing? What's going on with the PLA? Like, can you just use the same PLA you used on this to use in a high speed? Let's talk about it. Yeah. Yeah, up until last year, we were running up to what, 200 millimeter a second. That was a high-speed 3D printer with a, might be a bed slinger, it might be whatever. And then Babu Labs came along and, really put the monkey wrench to it. It went up to 500 millimeters a second. I was like, whoa, it's fast. And Creality's new K1 Max at 600 millimeters a second. I was like, wow. But Creality sells a hyperspeed PLA for their machine. And what really threw a monkey wrench into it all was I was putting different spools on. Some of them were PLA, PLA Plus, some of it was older inventory that's been around for years. And I was running stuff off and getting good models and everything was fine. And I suddenly realized I'm running the old PLA that was rated for maybe up to 200 and running it at 500 and not seeing anything, because in your software slicer also there's going to be a default setting for a generic PLA or something like that, and what machine you're using, and it's going to set itself up for the speeds that are going to work with that PLA anyways. But the thing was, I was able to run, you can run, with the high speed you can still run whatever. What also came in the door last week that threw me off was Kingroon sent me the new KLP1 machine, and I was really excited about getting it, and I was like, man, this is going to be a really cool machine. And sure enough, it was built like, yeah, this thing's built like a tank to last a long time and be very, very accurate. But Kingroon sent me 4 spools of PET-G that were just, plain old PET-G. They weren't hyperspeed or something special. And I checked over all the spools I have, and I only have one in here which actually has a speed rating on it. This is PLA, but it actually says on here that it can be run from 200 to 400 millimeters a second speed. And this is the only one in here that even came in like this. Now you can order hyperspeed or high-speed 3D printing PLA. So I did. I ordered a spool. It came in. It was, I don't have it right here, but there was nothing on the spool. It just showed the usual, PLA, temperatures for the bed, temperature for the nozzle, and that was it. It didn't have any specific, speed setting, or it's only rated for this speed or something. So I'm getting a little bit feeling like we probably can run just about anything we want, and through the default settings in the slicer, we'll get whatever we want for a model. But what I was doing last week was I was trying to run a test, and I was trying to run a large model that would be in theory on the K1 Max, I guess it was. No, I'm wrong. No, it wasn't either. It was the, I think they call it the Cheetah, which is QIDI. It was their big machine, because their big machine has a bed size of 325 millimeter by 325 by, I think it's 325 square. It's a big high-speed printer, and again rated to, I believe it's 600 millimeter a second speed. And what I was doing was running a PLA Plus generic type brand through it on the slicer just to see how fast it could make it, because my old bed slinger takes 17 hours for this particular model. And the Cheetah or QIDI machine, I don't know how they get Cheetah out of that, but it showed that it could do it in 2 hours and 57 minutes. And that was like, whoa, it's, high speed machine is still doing high speed machine. One of the things that's in these machines too is the Clipper software. And in Clipper software, I discovered through a couple different experiments that Clipper actually does have it in there that when it's doing a curve or a circle or something rounded, it slows down to dampen out the vibration of the high-speed machine so that you don't get a real mess going on with your model. And what happened was I was running off a tube, PLA tube of plastic that was slow. It came off, it took almost as long as it would the old bed slingers. The big difference, of course, was with the bed slinger, the thing probably would have fallen over and been ruined, where with the high-speed printer and the plate not moving, just moves straight up, of course, as it's printing, it doesn't fall over. So I had asked for some comments, and somebody said something about slowing down in curves or something like a car or something, and it was kind of like, well, that's sort of what it is. But then when I checked, it's in the software, it's in Clipper's software, that it slows it down in order to lessen the vibration problems with a high-speed printer. So yeah, it does slow it down. So when you're doing something round and curvy on a high speed, it's still going to be faster than the old bed slingers, you know, that were just a few years ago was the hot thing. But it's not going to be 8 times faster or something. And the other thing that I ran into was I started thinking, well, in terms of what I'm buying, do I really need to spend the extra money, and how much extra money are we talking for high-speed hyper, you know, PLA, you know, for the machine? Should I spend it on that in order to get that extra 5 or 10 minutes? How much gain am I going to get? So I went ahead and ran some tests off, and I'll tell you the truth, just share it with you guys the way I see it. I wasn't impressed, because I'm spending about $5 a spool more to get the hyper speed, and it shows up, it looks like, you know, it's PLA, so what, you know? And when it runs through the machine, I notice the modeling, most of my average modeling parts that I need for the clients and customers that we do out of the 3D printing farm, you know, you might gain 5 or 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes faster or something, but you're not gaining a lot of speed. Big difference, like I said, with that other one, with the bed slinger, to a high-speed printer with like the Cheaty. I guess it was the Max, something Smart Max, whatever it was. It was the biggest machine they have for consumer level for us guys. And at 2 hours and 57 minutes, that was like, that's awesome, you know. Now, mind you, the machine course is about $1,000. You know, yeah, I got the extra $1,000 to throw around on a 3D printer. Yeah, okay, we didn't need to go there. But I'm inviting comments about all of this, because basically I found that the settings, in some cases, the default settings were the same, whether you're running the hyperspeed or whether you're just running some common PLA that you bought, generic cheap brand that was $14 a roll or something from Amazon, you know, and just ran it through, and it was like, ran through the same. I don't see any difference, you know, I don't see anything going on that's any different. So I'm going to invite some comments and just see. I think that the industry is, you know, might be taking advantage of us, maybe not. Maybe there's something to it. I do love PLA Plus, that is one of my favorites, but I'll be honest with you, the PLA Plus moisture problems here in South Texas is the same problem I have with the other PLA, and even the PET G. Same problem, get the moisture, and I end up having to use a dryer sometimes, box, because the stuff just gets so brittle and it starts snapping and falling apart on me that, yeah. The biggest, slickest trick I've seen is somebody said put these on the bed, heat the bed up to 60 Celsius, let it sit there for a little bit, you know, warm it all up real nice, and then run it. That's kind of like, you know, a built-in dryer kind of idea. And that's not bad, you know, that's a pretty good way to, you know, get around the problem. But I have a Sunlu dryer box back there that I use behind the high-speed printer. In fact, I've gotten rid of almost all my bed slingers because the high-speed printers are just so much faster. It's such a game changer for me. It was like, well, you know what, there's no reason to have bed slingers around, because everything I print, I want it as fast as I can have it, and I want the model, of course, to be decent. You know, it's got to be decent enough for the client. So it's like, I can't screw with this too much, but I can, you know, if the model's good and approvable, then we're good to go. And I quickly found out that we're saving 6 and 7 hours per modeling or something. The machines, some of them are, one machine is equivalent to having 8, you know. So if you had like 10 of these things, it would be like having a print farm with 80 machines, you know, running instead of, you know, 8. So it's like the high speed is just, it's just incredible. I love it. You know, I'm really happy that the industry kind of went that way. I'm happy that Bamboo Lab, you know, kind of pushed a few buttons, and everybody else is kind of like jumping, and it seems like they're all jumping now and saying, oh, we better put one out too. You know? But the PLA, the PLA Plus, the PETGs, it seems like the industry is taking advantage of us, I think, almost, and relabeling these things. Oh yeah, that's high speed. Yeah, go ahead, and it's just their old PLA stock. It's like, I'm suspicious. If anybody has some comments about that, have at it. I'm old school, so we think everything's suspicious these days. Yeah, so we're over here at the print farm area, and this is what started this whole thing off, was this machine right here. It came in a while back ago, and it's a high-speed 3D printer, and it's really fast. It does the old benchy in 18 minutes or whatever. But the thing was, with using the settings that were already in there to build the 18-minute benchy, this was hyperspeed PLA. So it came out, looks great, This is just common cheap PLA, and the benchy came out looking the same and great and wonderful, so it was like, why would I spend that extra money? What is the differences? So I looked it up online, and then all I could get was the sort of gray area of all the mixes, specially mixed just for high-speed printing. Like, I don't think so. So basically, even if I set up a model in here with the hyperspeed PLA profile, it just doesn't seem to care. And I guess what I'm looking for is just some comments from other people, experiences, anything like that. If you've had experiences where you've noticed there is a difference or something, I'd love to hear about it. Let me know. Meantime, I'm going to get out of here, so over and out.